Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Knuckle Dragger. Chris and Tim back again. Tuesday night. Um, Hell of a week. Let's just jump into it because Doge is just fucking shit up in America right now, and I love it. They got the Democrats on their. I was gonna say on their heels, but they're really on their ass right now. They're past their heels. They were on their heels maybe 10 days ago. They This is almost Tim, and I'm sorry I'm just coming in hot, but I'm excited. It really feels like Trump has kind of wrapped himself with a couple of people that are really good or have been around war, because it really feels like they're coming out guns blazing. This is intentional, the way they're coming out full, just spraying like a shotgun. You can't keep up with it. You can't keep a narrative, and you damn sure can't cover it all. You have to pick and choose your spots, and they're over there fucking the other spots up while you're doing that. How are you doing this Tuesday morning?
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday afternoon, evening. I always say morning. I don't know why.
It's kind of in the afternoon for me. It's 5:30 out here in the liberal state of Oregon. So things are going well. So I'll jump right. First of all, I have a Calabri cigar cutter. Has the V cut on one side, the guillotine on the other. Of course, then I have because we've got to start out here with the right timer. This is a timer. I really don't like cigars. I just use this to keep on time, so I know that when I'm running out of cigars.
Timer.
So I love these little jet. I think I have 3 or 4 of them. One's a 4. I get in the camera here. I don't know where my camera is. There we go. But it's got this. One, it's got to make the canal a little better in the event you're not getting a good draw. And the other one, right next to it, it has a little punch. So I like these little. Can you see that? And so that little punch is you just take a lighter. You don't even need a cutter, right? Some people just use their fingernails. And you want to do kind of less than a dime depth on your cigar. Tonight I'm having another Fat Bottom Betty.
Fat Bottom, bland lamb. Whoa,
that's right. So Doge, I think it's really important. I would say this for our vast audience too, is not to be critics or fence straddlers, right? It's easy to be on the sidelines and not a participant. We've got to participate. This is our country. This is our life. We've got to make it count. And so with that, we got to trust and verify, right? Is that the right terminology?
I like it. Trust and verify.
So Musk has a lot of influence. People are crying all about it, but as long as he keeps doing the right thing, he seems to have. We've talked about this before. It's important to always ask yourself, what's my motive in this? Because we can get off track pretty quick. You want to make money, you want to do this, whatever. Sometimes, the character gets challenged, you can cut corners. But when you ask, well, what's my motive? Why do I really want to do this? I caught myself the other night. I've had a lot of experiences in life. And so sometimes we were at a birthday party up in Portland and with a group of friends and another surgeon's birthday. And there were a lot of his friends. And he built a really cool pizza oven in his backyard. It was like 2,000 pounds. I mean, it was stout. And so we were talking about different things. It's so easy to want to tell a story or, an experience instead of just listening. And but there was something really important I wanted to share. And I just thought, I asked myself before I shared it, what's my motive? And my motive was, I just wanted to share, my stuff. And it really wasn't that important. And it just checked me. And because it's just easy to want to dominate or what have you, instead of just checking, well, what's my motive is me, right? And it's not a cool motive. When I started thinking about it, I was like, just bite my tongue. So translate. Well, what the hell are you talking about, Doge or what? Well, question my motive. I question Elon's motive, and I just said, what's his motive? And is it to steal data? Because he's a data machine. He's a data miner, right? I mean, he could do all that, but he's not. I mean, so far, I mean, he's got to be doing things for money. He makes money, right? But money's not his total motivator because he doesn't need it, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like Trump in a lot of ways. And so Trump, love him or hate him, you look at his motives. I mean, this has been a costly enterprise for him, and he loves the country. And I don't know about Musk. He seems to love our country. And I'm sure, we're going to see him tested with some of these supplies, steel, essential things for some of his manufacturing. That's going to be important for him to know. China right now is, I think their electric car market is outperforming Tesla. I don't know, 3 to 4 to 1. Certainly in Central and South America and Europe. And of course, they don't come into these states, but we're the only ones that don't know. What is this? It's like CDBN or something. I don't know what it is. But China's pushing Tesla really competitively.
A story that I just heard earlier today, Tim, and I don't know how much truth it is to it. I want to bounce it off you, maybe you know or not. I heard that two or 3 weeks before Trump took office, that China had remote hacked into the Treasury Department into each cubicle. It was in the computer, and they have kept that on the hush hush.
Yeah, the reality is we've had no border for so long, and look at our military, even before Trump's first term, before Obama, during the Bushes, there were probably more Chinese interaction than Americans in some on the top level stuff, technology, and our own military, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me. So, so getting back to Musk a little bit, looking up, I really, I mean, they've got so much done in such a short period of time, and these unconstitutional liberal judges, that are trying to do everything they can to stop, and the attorney generals, Letitia.
Oh my God, I can't. We still got to listen to this bitch's name. Fuck.
And Alvin Bragg, who did a state thing, they're doing state stuff so that they can drag him back in. You see what they did to Bannon today, that's
I didn't. I missed it. What happened there?
well, they brought up another charges, so he just pled guilty, for this wall thing. They're getting him on state charges because Trump pardoned him last administration. He pardoned Bannon, and then they took him and put him in jail anyway on charge, and now they're putting state charges on him. He said, I can't fight it anymore. And they, he did a plea deal, I guess, and he got no time. And it was supposedly, a charitable organization that did something inappropriate with building a wall. And as far as I can tell, he didn't do anything wrong. And it's just more lawfare. They're trying to shut him up. And so I think, I don't know really. We got to always, that's what I say, question motives. We always got to stay balanced because you can get caught up in some of the psyops here, or, dangling the carrot over here while behind the back they're doing something completely different.
100%. That's what we've been doing for 300 years.
Yeah. So I'm going to rearrange here. There we go. Move this back a little bit. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So I think we got to watch, but we can't sit on the sidelines. We got to always question, because We got a lot of risk. But this is our last shot. If Trump didn't win, everybody says we're done. Well, we're done anyway. You know, the reality is, Trump to win, as far as America wins and comes back, I'd give the odds about 5, maybe 7%, 5%, maybe. The deep state is so entrenched, and if America goes south, it's all done, right? But we're already south, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See that how many people hate America from this, that are politicians that are trying to stop Trump. Who would want to stop, or who would want to stop looking at corruption? Who would want to stop looking at fraud? That tells you everything you need to know. Anybody that's yelling that, and I believe in checks and balances, but anybody that is yelling that, no, you can't look at the IRS payment schedules. You can't look at where the money's going to USAID. I mean, what kind of crap is that? That just tells you that they're totally on the grift, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I really I thought personally growing up 80s, 90s, that was the Democrats. It's like it's done a total flip 180. Or it's my perception of what Democrats were early in my life compared to what they are today in my life. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've always been that. But it seemed like they were much more on they would have wanted this.
Yeah, I think that it is a little bit of a flip, but I think it's a different flip than what you think.
Okay.
It's more of a flip from a little bit of um, a remnant of statesmen who were truly charactered individuals that loved the country and on the droll. I mean, you look at all these people that are multimillionaires now that have only had a government job, right? And so
Yeah.
you know they're on the droll
Insane.
and their families. So I think it's more of a statesman remnant because we've only had very little in the last 100 years of just true statesmen. I mean, I'm talking about the Ron Paul or the Massey today, or even a little bit of the Rand Paul. But there's far and few. I mean, that's three. I can't really think of any more. I don't know, maybe there's one or two, but I don't see them. I mean, you get
Yeah.
more of the Ryan, and even the president, speaker of the House. What a
Thune.
yeah. No, that's the Senate, but I'm talking about the House.
Oh. Oh, Ron Johnson.
Mike,
Johnson. Mike Johnson.
yeah, and he's just Ron Johnson's your Minnesota guy, right? Or
Yeah, yeah.
Wisconsin guy. Wisconsin.
The Mike Johnson just reminds me of a politician. He's
Yeah,
just another politician.
he's good on some things, but then he wavers on others. Kind of like Kennedy. We like the Kennedy from Louisiana, but then he wavers on stuff all the time. So my point being, I think that the different sides is not Republican Democrat.
Yeah.
It may have been a long time ago, but now it's more of grifter, non-grifter, and
Okay.
and it's like if out of 500 people, we may have uh, 20 that are
That are
not,
non-grifters.
yeah, that are non-grifters. So, um,
Hey, real quick, can I tell you my favorite story of the day though?
what's that?
So one of these young men that are helping Elon's Calvary,
Yeah.
started a Substack. Okay.
Okay.
His subscriptions are $1,000 a month or $10,000 for the year. All blank pages, and crushed it. Opened it up today and crushed it today with haters trying to get dirt on him. He just did it as a fucking troll and it worked. He made a shit ton of money.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, right? What a great troll, though. All those just liberals trying to catch dirt on him all signed up at $1,000 a month, and he just chit chit, and it was all blank page, just blank sheets of Word doc. Money, that is money, baby.
Well, what's the balls guy? What's that all about? I missed that one too. Do you know?
Nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. He was young. I think he was. I don't know. There's some racist stuff, but I don't know what it is exactly because I haven't heard anything that was too crazy. But I'm sure it's crazy in 2025. I'm sure he was just a young kid talking shit.
Well, so far we can't cut our spending enough to save the day. All right.
No, we spent enough too much already. That's
Yeah,
done.
we spent too much already. So, but I think it's important, and I love what's happening. And like I said, I think the thing to realize is that these yahoos that are fighting against the accountability and the transparency, the, they're the problem. Anybody that fights against it, they're the problem. Period. End of story.
All walked in making minimum wage to Washington, all millionaires now, and they're crying because that's a money train. That
The
is
great
I mean, God bless. I suppose if your if your money tree is drying up, you would fight tooth and nail for that.
I
And
seen
I
like the pastor out of Tennessee or wherever that's saying we need to go be violent. I mean, the guy's on the he's on the droll. He's on the trough, dude. I can tell you,
yeah,
100. You know, it just
I, I think there's a lot of on the take going on in Washington on both sides of the aisle. I'd love to see them all just come out in handcuffs. That'd be phenomenal. Ain't
yeah.
gonna
We
happen
need
though.
to see some legitimate trials and people prosecuted and paying the price. I mean, what a sham that we have anybody still in jail from the January 6th stuff, and then these guys are living off of us. And did you see all the reports about all the Ukrainians that are in Switzerland
No.
buying $400,000 watches, driving around in Maybachs? You know, they're all just had pilfered all this money, and then the kickbacks go back to our politicians and key players, right? The Ukrainians, they're just super.
Balling.
It's just crazy. So,
I'm sure they live pretty good. I mean, some of us make pretty good money over here. They're like our children now.
well, and Zelensky's got three or four huge properties in the U.S. I mean, it's blatant. But anyway, so you ask about Musk and Trump. I think that it's a great start. I think the opposition now um, is showing up, and it's illegal, and we've got some. There's some dancing going on because if they fight too hard, then it shows light on them, and we start tracing where they're getting the money, and that's indictable. And the Supreme Court, for them to step in and to overrule a judge is really important, but it's still putting the power in the judicial side, and it shouldn't be there. There should be equal checks and balance. No circuit judge has a right to override the president.
The executive branch, the entire executive branch of the fucking America. Fuck that.
Yeah, I think Trump ought to just completely disregard it.
Yes.
And he's got the military behind him, so good luck with
Can
that.
you say fuck you? No. Next.
Well, I would say impeach. You know, they're trying to impeach him already, but I don't mean we got to start impeaching judges. This life
Yes.
long deal with no accountability has got to go. So,
Yep.
um, anyway, so that's my answer on that. I also wanted to bring up the John F. Kennedy files.
I was gonna say JFK isn't next on the list here that I'm looking at.
The JFK files. We're not going to probably find any earth-shattering things that show what happened, but there's going to be material in there that support some of these other things with people that were hidden before that the public knows they were involved, and now we'll see their names like Oneides or whatever these. So there's a big space industry realm that went after Kennedy were part of the assassination with the money and the power behind it, because Kennedy wanted to work with Khrushchev to have a joint mission to the moon. And ex partech, it was quasi military industrial complex with the the space type of things, that ties to the UFOs, all of this stuff, this information, that was very supportive of Johnson and the CIA knocking off Kennedy. And there are a lot of players involved. But this whole is what a hoax on Lee Harvey Oswald. But if you look at the supporters, the people that sponsored Oswald were tied right to the CIA, and it's the evidence is all over. This is the type of stuff that will come out and support. It won't point the finger at the CIA like it should, but it'll support some of these connections that I see. And the FBI was involved too. I mean, it's just corrupt. When you see
mean the
FBI,
strings just go all over Washington,
yeah,
huh?
it's deep state. And you
Yeah.
see the FBI now leaking. They're just gonna get no, clean it out, man. Shut these things down and start over if you need to. I don't care. I mean, I want it cleaned out. These people are gone way over the top.
Yeah, I you know they haven't budged. I really appreciate the willpower of Musk and Trump, not just today, but for the last 4 years, because they've gone through it. Trump has really gone through it, and I'm sure on the back end they've been giving it to Elon. He just has so much money, he doesn't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, they're going after Elon big time.
Yeah, and they have been.
Yeah. So, but
But
Trump, go ahead.
the willpower, the political wills, I don't know if it's that. I think it's just a will to win is phenomenal
Yeah.
because they're standing in the face of the greatest power on earth and the deep state of America.
Yeah. So Trump was, when he was building his empire, I remember he talked to Oprah about when she kept asking he could run for president, back in the, a long time ago in the 90s, I guess. And he says, I think it was, yeah, because it was under the Bushes and in the 2000s. So I think he was just disgusted with the direction of the country and the corruptness that he could see. And he really didn't want to run. He said that publicly, but he wanted somebody to run that would be America first. And you see his will and motive there. It wasn't that he was seeking it. He was wanting it, and he's got an ego. He doesn't deny that, but you can tell it's America first. And so then his first round getting in there, I he did some good things, but I would say he was a failure. And he failed because he wouldn't listen. He's kind of boneheaded that way. And he wouldn't listen to the right people that had his best interest in mind and had this country's best interest, right? So he surrounded himself with swamp rats. The Bill Barrs, the Boltons, his, Mad Dog Mathis, or whatever, all these generals, or whatever. And they were compromisers, right? They were terrible. And Trump did it, and Trump learned a lesson.
Yeah.
He hasn't completely learned a lesson because he's still got some swamp rats around him. But that's what I see what you're saying is that he's gotten hardened. He still is being refined. And
that's hard to do what he's doing.
Oh man, I love that he's no longer putting his finger in the air, checking the politics. He says, let's close it down. Let's close it down.
Fucking, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna go in there now.
Let's close it down. Now, we thought we were vulnerable at the pre-election and then vulnerable between election and the inauguration. The vulnerability just keeps going up. If you look at the contacts within the deep state, within our government and deep state, and the ability to spy, look at our cars, shut them down, cause accidents, our phones, everything. And you look at, he's asked for this information on the assassins, and they stonewalled that too. If you look at it, there's no way there could have been a lone gunman in Butler, Pennsylvania. It's just total BS, because there was a stand down call that allowed for that shooter, and there must have been at least two shooters. And there's never a stand down, and they left the Secret Service out. There's so many things that happened that day with the drones, with the lack of communication, the not showing up for the pre-meetings. All of these things point deep state, deep state, deep state. They're trying to take him out. Now, you saw in the news where the Pennsylvania governor was accused of being part of the assassination deal. And but you look at the whistleblower that was saying that, she may be right, but the information she shared didn't really support that. So I just think that's a false flag. But I guess my point in discussing the vulnerability is that the deep state's still trying to take him out, and they're very, very, very connected. The likelihood of their ability to do that is pretty high. You would like it to be less than 10%, because 10% is pretty high, 1 in 10. But I would
much higher than that.
Much higher than that. And Trump's got to keep at it, because they're going to try to take him out. And now they're going to try to do everything. You see the USA, how that money was going for protest, both here.
This is their money tree. They're not just gonna lay down. This is a fucking fight.
Black Lives Matter. They funded all this summer of hell. So now, you be ready. There's going to be some white supremacist that shoots up a black church and then blames it on Trump, right? And it's not going to be a white supremacist. It's going to be a FBI, CIA, whoever. And they'll have a patsy, and they'll kill him and wipe him out. So now we know. How can we not know anything about the Butler alleged shooter, right? And how can we not know anything about this guy that's incarcerated for the assassination attempt? Both of them have all deep state all written over them. You look at the range that this guy trained at Butler, the gun range, all of his interactions, they have records of that, were with CIA, FBI, some officials,
handlers.
Handlers. This is crazy. So
you fill it up for 5 minutes. I got a technician on a roof at 6 degrees, but he's in trouble. Let me see. Change the inducer motor on a carrier. Let me see what's going on with this.
We can't go live with that. That might be really interesting.
Better not.
No, I'm kidding. So I'll talk about Bitcoin while Chris is doing that. So I think Bitcoin. I didn't predict. I said I thought the signals were showing that it might go down a week or so ago, down to 94, maybe lower. It went down to 89. I think it went down to 94 today. I'll look at it. Just real quick. Looks like it was 98.5 high, 94.8 low. So it did hit the 94. And so I think a week or so ago, I said, I'm cashed out. I'm not taking any positions except a cash position. And I think the next 30 days, or 25, 30 days, 3 weeks at least, I'm just going to watch and see. And the signals hit. If it goes low enough, I'll buy back in, because I'm bullish long term. But right now, the signals are just saying not to be in yet for Bitcoin. So, I'm involved with other investment opportunities. So I think there's opportunities to make money, and I think that's kind of what this show is about. We should be prospering, and hopefully that's I really don't think the government should be having so much influence over our markets, and their idea should be um, to have an influence on the outcome of our economy. I'm for free markets, not government influenced. I don't think the government really should own anything, um, and so they own way too much. And so there's the sovereign wealth fund is concerning because it makes them a competitor to the business realm. But I understand why he's doing it. Other countries have done it. I think it's good to have prosperity. Those things always concern me because there's going to be a new administration one day, and what will they do with it, right? And so it's like all these executive orders. Yeah, it's great to get things straightened out, but I don't. We really shouldn't be ruling by executive orders. There is a process to make things lawful, and we should be working on getting rid of laws and getting back to ask the question: is it constitutional or not, and is it in America's best interest to do these things? And so, unfortunately, we've been so corrupt for so long that Trump is doing a lot of executive orders, but it's kind of like when Bush Jr. was saying, "Well, for the sake of capitalism, we've got to do some socialistic things like the quantitative easing and bailing out all the banks." Well, that's just total BS. Let the markets correct things because that's what we're all about. So, uh, so Chris, with that, I was just telling all your dirty secrets about you.
Yes.
I was saying that the sovereign wealth fund that Trump's talking about creating, it sounds great, but in other countries done it and actually done it kind of successfully. I think it's has some cool aspect to it, but it's not really constitutional. I don't want the government to be influencing the economy.
Oh, and they will. They already do.
Big time. They make us think that the Fed controls everything, and they're always the quantitative easing crap, all this stuff. They shouldn't be owning farmland. They shouldn't be owning all these assets.
Anything.
Nothing. Standing army would be questionable even. So, but this is a new day, right? So I was saying that these executive orders are concerning because a new administration can come in and undo.
They will flip them.
Yeah, and so we're not to be run by executive order. In fact, the more executive orders, the more kingdom it becomes, like a king. And there should be checks and balances, but there's so much grifting and corruption, and to get things turned around, I like what he's doing it, but I also don't like other presidents when they do bad executive orders. So, but they're temporary and they can be changed by Congress. We just have to get Congress shifted, and I think that there ought to be more emphasis, and maybe there is behind the scenes, because it might be wise strategically to make sure our elections are not fraudulent.
Oh, wow. Maybe that might be a good thing to look at.
So I talked about Bitcoin.
You
I'm
did.
on the shelf, stacking cash, and not involved in crypto at the moment. And I talked about it a few weeks ago. I thought it might go down to 94. It actually went down to 89. I saw it went down to 94 again today. It was high at 98.5. It's at 96 right now. Um, we could talk about your great business experience today on a big transaction for Bitcoin that's already gone up in value for you. So
Yeah, Tim did send me a transaction in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin now. I what about how about this deal? The UFO.
so
What
I
do you got
mentioned,
on this?
yeah, I mentioned the UFOs before because this is tied to the whole JFK assassination. So I didn't really put all that together. So Trump finally got the papers or the files on the JFK deal Friday.
Oh, okay.
So I thought there'd be some more info coming out because they were slow rolling this. So part of uh, the CIA's aspect, it was kind of interesting of who controlled all these UFO files, but they're usually spooks and more so under the CIA. And this leads to the psyops, right? It leads to scaring the people so that they can do certain things. And so that's another thing we got to watch out for because so far, the people that they put forward in Congress to testify as a whistleblower, they're total spooks, right? They're government, and they're total lies. And so there's no doubt in my mind. I talk in absolutes, I probably shouldn't, but the reality is there's something to this technology that's been around a long time that they probably reverse engineered from some types of alien technology, and it's kind of hard to refute that with just a common sense mind. I mean, you look at certain things that were built like the pyramids or whatever. There's technology that was there that either states there was a superior knowledge race prior that got wiped out or something. You look at the Atlanta stuff, about in the Bermuda Triangle area where there's an underwater remnants of something, that we don't really understand. There's no way that what we've been told technology wise is available that can be done. And so I think there is my probabilities would show that there's a lot of advanced technology that gets scrapped so there's control, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like oil itself. Uh, there's only a very few companies that actually um, refine the oil. So there's a monopoly on it. And you remember, you don't remember, but in the 70s, we're running out of oil by 1972. And there was more oil being naturally dumping out in the Gulf of America. I don't think they called it then back
It's pretty new.
then. So that naturally, and they're talking about these terrible oil spills or whatever. Well, I don't think there's anything. I don't think fossil fuels exist. I don't think we get our oil from fossils. I mean, think that through. How many fossils are there, right? I don't. So it seems to be regenerative. Like it's a natural resource that continues to replace itself. Now we may be using it up faster than it's replacing, so you have to use different technology to get to it. But it seems to be replenishing. So, but that doesn't drive up price, or that doesn't keep people in power and control. So it's got to be a limited resource. There's not enough fish in the sea, so we all have to fight over the little things that are left and create this scarcity so they can control. And I tie that all into the UFO mentality because of the science of what the Germans had. When you look at our whole space program was we imported it from Germany after the war, during the war, whatever. And von
Hey,
Braun,
come on over here. Come on over here. It'll be all
yeah.
right.
But the technology and what's going on in Antarctica, and you look at the Antarctica connection to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, you look at Byrd, who's I don't know, the brothers. I think it was his brother led the whole development of Antarctica, and he owned the school book depository building. And there's all these connections with space technology, UFO technology that Kennedy was trying to get put on transparent levels and co-work with Russia to go to the moon and all these things that got him killed. And you look at Bobby Kennedy. You know who killed Bobby Kennedy? It wasn't Sirhan at all. I mean, he shot things, but they accounted for every bullet that he shot. And you know, Bobby Kennedy had a powder burn on his shoulder, and it was a security guard that was right behind him, Chavez or Caesar, not Chavez, but his name was Caesar somebody. But if you look at who he was, a new security guard that was put in there, and he was part of Expertech, which is the space industry, all tied to the CIA. And he was put in there the day before to be there in the hotel. And it's obvious that he was the gunman. And
Right.
so same people that took out Bobby took out his brother John. And and it was, you know, Lyndon B was what a crook. He was a murderous thug, and he'd already done his murderous row to get to be the Senate majority, and he controlled everything, right?
Hey, my daughter Peanut just went down that rabbit hole of how fucking awful he was.
Oh, he's terrible. Oh, whoremongering, just terrible. And you know, you look at what he did in Texas, what he did with Franklin Roosevelt, and how he got his start, and then what he did in Texas, so corrupt, had people murdered. The agriculture guy because he found fraud, and you know the guy's just a total grifter. And then all this stuff was coming out 3 weeks before. Kennedy was not going to have him be on the ticket anymore. In fact, he was under indictment. And what did Johnson do? He got rid of those indictments just as soon as he took over presidency. I mean, there are plenty of eyewitnesses that had dinner with Johnson the night before the assassination in Texas. I mean, he was out at his ranch or wherever he was, and saying, we want to put up with that for tomorrow. It's going to be over, right? So he knew it was coming and was all part of the deal. I mean, there were so many things. And the guy that Kennedy was going to speak with, or at the World Trade deal in Dallas, he was on the way there. They were going to unfold new information. We can't get that speech, but it was all about space technology and opening it up for the prosperity of mankind. And so you see the connect. So this UFO stuff, there is real stuff to it with the another dimension type of energy and technology that is kept from the people, and then also a bunch of hoaxes that keeps us. So we might be, be under attack. We could be, coming anytime soon, and so we'll wait and see what unfolds. But
keep your vibrations right,
and then I'll give you I'll stop talking about it. It's so interesting to look at the connections between Nikolai Tesla, and now we have X and Tesla, and the predictions before a long time ago about Mars and a guy named Elon, way before Elon was ever born, and then about Trump and Trump's uncle, John Trump, who the FBI sent in to recover Nikola Tesla's papers and personal research at his hotel. And so there's all these connections that are just unbelievable. It is a good term. It's unbelievable. And yet they're there. So it's fascinating. Anyway, that's my run. What's the next topic you want to talk about? We were talking about guns and different holsters and things before. Our pre-shows probably better than our shows sometimes.
We were talking about Kindex holsters and how they're kind of uncomfortable compared to leather against the skin on an appendix carry.
Yeah.
So. I haven't carried a Kindex in really sweaty yet, but I don't mind leather.
I don't mind leather either. In fact, it kind of I like the way it fits and feels. And there's some, it's been a while since I've been involved with any of that, but we used to have some pretty cool um, ways to carry so that they were convenient.
This is the new holster I just got. This
And
is JX Tactical with alias belt system that I in any holster I use these clips. They go on the core. They go nice with the core belt or
yeah,
with a nice clip, and still be able to tuck at the office.
very cool. Very cool.
Uh, but they're fucking hard, Tim. There's no give. So right
Yeah,
around the pelvic area, like cut this. Like this needs to be gone. This little pop out piece right here.
yeah.
Bye. Why is that there? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's supposed to. You could probably screw a wedge on there to kick it a little bit more to put that handle in, or you could just do some fucking sit ups and be done with it. Take a cold shower in the morning, push ups to failure. That gut will go away. I promise you. Then we get I think we like there's a little too much going on here. It doesn't
Yeah,
need to be this fucking busy.
it
And
looks
it
full,
could be a little smoother right here
right.
against the skin. I don't know. That's where you get me with leather. Is it conforms a little bit. Even like when you sit down, this right here, it's not great.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just old and crusty, I guess. The kids like this shit. And it's plaid. You get all the cool colors, but I mean, are you really showing your holster off that much? It's a whole concealed part of it that
I, I, I can't remember the name of them. I'll have to go back and look at them. Of course, that's 30 years ago. But we had the really cool materials, probably similar to that, but they were just enough. They were all sleeked down, just enough to go around the gun and hold it. They weren't the
yeah,
whole
it's
gun.
got a lot going on, right?
Yeah, yeah. A lot. It was slim and workable. So,
Yep.
what else we got going on? Look at the topics here.
Um, that's really what we had. I mean, I was excited to talk about if you thought that this was gonna come to an abrupt end or if Elon and the Don were just gonna keep on bullying through this shit. Like, nope, we ain't stopping.
You know,
And where do you feel the people are of America? Where's their temperature at on this?
they had a little football game on Sunday,
I saw that.
and they scanned just like 2 seconds for this very famous pop star singer.
Yeah,
And,
but I have to second guess those boos because that's Philly's gonna boo her, and I mean that's their thing. They just boo people, so they're gonna boo her. They'd have. I don't know. Is
no,
that right? Maybe
no,
you're right
no,
though. They
no,
might
no.
people
I
might
think
be sick of her.
I'll stand down. And I think that's a valid point. But then, as I was going to continue on this, and then they panned just for a minor second too on this guy that's in the Oval Office and his bride. And no, it wasn't his bride; it was his daughter, right?
Eruption.
Eruption. And
Both teams. That was the whole crowd.
yeah, so I think that will tell you where the American people are. Hey, I'm an American people um, guy, but we got a bunch of dummies that couldn't pass a civil um, literacy test on what
They
our.
got they've got these poor fucking sheep out there screaming about save the IRS. How did they do
No,
that?
no, no, no,
How
no,
did you get these people to do that?
because they're paid. They bus them in. They're paid.
They're they're paid by a check that the executive order is probably already cut off. They don't even know it yet.
Well, but how much money has already been funneled before
Oh
Trump?
my god. All of it.
How long can
I'm
they?
sure they were. I'm sure as soon as Trump won, they started funneling.
Yeah, it's. um, it's complete crap.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't. They probably are all paid agitators and
Yeah,
assholes.
who's going to be supporting the IRS?
Who in America wants to suck on that cock? Get the fuck out of
Ask all of your employees. Ask all your neighbors.
here. All your friends.
Find one protester that's out there doing that for the IRS. So, um, that's a joke. So I think that, well, let's talk about probabilities. What's the probability? Because you ask about Trump
Yeah.
and Musk, and what's really cool about Trump and Musk, it's not Trump and Musk. He's got there's no grassroots with the libtard bills. They're all paid, and so they're paid one way or the other. You stop this illegal immigration by stopping the money trail. Make it
Yeah.
expensive. Don't give them freebies, and then you stop it. And build a wall, shut down the tunnels. All those are good things. Parole,
Taking the money away takes 75% of it out, and then
yeah,
the rest of it's normal. What we always deal with. It's every day, just day to day shit.
right. So we got to get back to prospering. But what I would say is that there's nobody that voted for Trump that's wishing that they didn't vote for Trump. Right.
No, I think he's got some more fans. In fact,
Yeah.
in
So
fact, I've been watching it.
how many people are saying that they voted for Kamala and they wish they hadn't? I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not like it's like every minute everybody's saying that, but when
Well,
the
what I'm hearing a lot, Tim, is I can't stand them, but man, it's not. Can you believe what happened to USAID? Yeah, it's crazy. But I can't stand Trump. But can you believe they were spending our money like that? Like, yeah, like I don't. You don't have to like him.
hey,
Just stay the fuck out of his way.
let's do a little promo here. Uh, I have an audience member on all of our no live chats yet.
Right?
So do we even have a link published where people can get on?
Anybody can chat in any one of these anytime they want. We just don't have anybody chatting.
So I'm gonna recruit because my wife is texting me. She's in Portland. She goes, "What's the link?" And I don't know if she's considered a true knuckle dragger.
Yes, she is. I've seen her up underneath the vehicle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what link should I send her? Is it on X or is it on
It's
Rumble?
on X Rumble, X and Rumble or YouTube.
Okay, and I'm gonna say X. Type C. I don't know why it does that. X or Rumble or YouTube, and it's live on YouTube right now.
Yep.
All right. So, and it's under Man's Curator, or what's it under? Knuckle Dragon
Yep.
University?
Man's curator.
Sorry, we got to do this important stuff.
I wrote on there for you so you could see it.
You put it. Oh yeah, Man's Curator. Okay, good. Well, she'll find it. We might get a first live chatter. So, yeah.
Other than that, how's everything been going, Tim?
Man, it's you can empathize with me, but it's really cold here.
Is it really?
Yeah, we're supposed to get snow and ice on Thursday. In fact, she's coming home. So I go back and forth. I was up there over the weekend, came back Monday morning, and she's coming back Thursday if she gets done enough. In fact, got Fantasy Sports Corporation. Is that you? What's up, fan? I shouldn't say that's you because that's like 100% of our audience, and we want to keep. We're all about the image.
Right.
You notice my background? It's dynamic, and all my little bobbleheads and things like that to make this show go. So she's coming down Thursday. If they get done with surgery and rounds, I guess she's got to do rounds. She's not doing surgery on Thursday. She'll do rounds and then she'll head this way before the snow and ice. But for us, it just doesn't get that cold here, but it's been in the 20s. So, and I know you can empathize with that because you never probably really get it that cold there in Wisconsin lately. So,
it's pretty cold right now. We're expecting 10 inches starting tomorrow.
Wow, maybe that's where we're getting our snow. It's coming across the country or something.
Right.
It's been snowing here off and on, but not enough to ever stick. So, because it gets warm. It's tempered here, right? It gets warm, the ground's warm. But now, it's not gotten above really today we had sunshine. It was so cool. But it hasn't gotten really above 40 in the last few days. So when that happens, the snow will stick. This time, if we get snow, it'll stick.
We had a sunny day, but our sunny days just mean that it's really cold. So it was really cold today.
Yeah, so
the snow comes here. It's nice, right? Because it warms up a little bit.
Oh, really?
It'll get it over zero. Get it up to like 50. It can get up to into the 20s if it snows a good layer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing that you have is that you get sunshine regularly. It's not gloomy, dark, cloudy. So,
it's either snowing or it's sunny, right?
Now it's depressing because the snow gets dirty and it stays there forever, right? How long have you
It's
had?
always white because it's always snowing. But you're right. The parking lots in the middle of the street, those don't leave till May or June.
And you're stomping your boots all the time or taking off your shoes, and it's just kind of like,
and they're scraping it, and it's nasty.
I had to use the scraper yesterday for the first time, so I almost sent you a link on the research for especially diesels, but gasoline engines, why you don't want to warm them up. And so it's better to get a little battery operated heater put in your car so it feels warm when you get in, but you don't want to warm up the engine from the standpoint letting it idle for 10 minutes. So I'll send you that link if you're interested, but the guy has got an engine shop and a diesel and repair shop. He's on YouTube. He's pretty famous. It's Dave's Auto Center, and they're out of Idaho, Centerville, Idaho, I think. But first class. And so what they did is they take oil draws. They change the oil after doing the 10-minute idles, and then they change the oil. Then they do no warm up, just start driving, and then they brought in a science guy, a piston rings guy on the company that does the testing for the oil. And then he explains why they got the results they got. So, and it just makes sense. So what happens is that, and then there's more variables that probably you can't really control, that you can't, be definitive, but this was pretty impressive. The research shows that when you start up an engine and you let it idle to warm up, like in the middle of when it's really cold, the rings have to expand, and they only expand if the oil's warm and the engine's warm. And so when it sits there idling, it doesn't pick up temperature like it does when you just start driving. I'm not saying you hit the gas fast or diesel, whatever. No, you slowly just, go slow and let it warm up for a little bit, and then get out on the highway and open it up a little bit, because then it gets warm fast. And so those rings expand and they stop the fuel from getting in the oil. So the big problem is oil deterioration because it gets fuel in it. It was like 43% more fuel on the idled engine than on just starting off and starting using some fuel to go, getting up to speed, because the temperature rises faster and those rings expand and doesn't let the fuel, especially in a diesel, that doesn't get sprayed out into atomized so that it explodes. It gets a little jelly and it runs down, and you get fuel in the oil. Then it contaminates the oil, and then it starts breaking down the engine. And so it makes sense. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. So,
Huh.
so
Send me that. I'm gonna read it. I like that. Which I am a warmer upper.
yeah,
It's who I
well,
am as a human.
but and so I was interacting, and you think, well, if you're not parking your truck in a garage, you know, fortunately, we've got that, so I don't have that much issue. And it's so much better, man, when it's 50 degrees and you jump in your car and you take off. Marielle's going always early into the hospital, and outside. Even here, it would be all frost or cold, and so when the car is just in the garage, she doesn't have that issue, and I like that for her. But um, you know what type of vehicle that she drives, and they're very sensitive to cold starts. I mean, because of the way they're built, and so they deteriorate fast in cold weather on cold starts. So I would say, just keep that in the garage. So
Right. Well, another fine Tuesday, sir.
yeah,
We knocked it out. JFK, the Don, Elon, UFOs, Atlantis. Brought the pyramids up.
yeah. So let's. I'll share quick some links that I really love the information they put out. One is the Dark Journalist. I think his name is Daniel Lentz, Lenz or something like that. But it's look up on X or I think on Dark Journalist. I'll put him on the Man's Curator X deal because he's fascinating with historic issues, from the UFOs, but not, not like Cricket loves the crazy UFO stories. He's more of the um, facts that are tied to government and the UFO files, and it's fascinating with the deep state and the history of our space program and the history of our military industrial complex, with a big influence from the aeronautical, the Lockheed Martins and Boeings and that ilk that has influenced our the money aspect of our wars and everything else, and the influence on people. So I think that, and there's more of them than just those two I mentioned, but the Dark Journalist, you can look it up. I'll put a link in X files or on Twitter or whatever. And who else is good? I love, I teased you about your big um, Bitcoin transaction realm, but it's really powerful. There's a guy by the name of David Marcus, who was probably pretty big as one of the founders, or very involved with PayPal originally, with Thiel, and I think Musk was involved with that too, right? And it's, there's some sketchy stories about, well, was he really involved, or did he buy that company, or, all this stuff. And,
Yeah.
but the reality is, this David Marcus guy has got the technology with Lightning. It's called Lightning or something like that. That's really making transactions with Bitcoin workable, where it's inexpensive and people can just start um, buying and selling using Bitcoin so much easier. We did it pretty easy today. There are aspects with different Venmo, Cash App. They're all doing Bitcoin, and which is pretty cool. But now it's going to get even so much better. So much so that I'm invested in the technology, and I think it's a big plus right now to get in it, um, and it has some big upside to it. But I like David. I like his character, and I like his technology. He's a proven track record, and I think because what we don't want to do, now that we talk about Knuckle Dragger University a little bit about actually making money, what we don't want to do is take money out of the bank
pay a fee to buy Bitcoin, make money in Bitcoin or whatever you're, trading and or investing in, and then take that and then put it back in the bank with another fee, and then I think you should pay all the taxes you're due, but just the scrutiny and the craziness. Why not put money into Bitcoin, make an increase, and then buy things with that without going through all of those transactions? Just use your Tweezer wallet that's protected and secure, and just like we did today, just transact. And I think that's powerful. This idea of making money to put it back into U.S. dollars in our bank accounts so that we get feed to death and taxed to death is idiotic. And I think the
Yes.
part of this uh, changing America and making things prosperous is having alternative forms of currency and making it easy. And that's why I like David Marcus. Like I said, I'll put a link of David Marcus. I did that today. I followed him on Man's Curator, our Twitter file, X file. And we're going to get it. We could talk about locals or rumble for a second and sign off whenever you're ready to rock and roll. So,
Yeah, I gotta go get Reagan pretty quick.
okay.
Softball's over.
What's she up to? Is she sports?
BP.
Pardon me?
Batting practice, BP.
All right. It's coming.
We'll be 7 days a week now. Yeah, because I mean her first tournament's in 2 weeks. We'll start indoor tournaments at first, but yeah.
I was gonna say, how's that working? What do you do? What's an indoor tournament look like?
AstroTurf.
Where is it?
They're all over here.
You're
Everybody's
kidding.
got it. No, everybody's got an indoor facility. It's fucking. We play all winter. Her whole practice facility's indoor. Pitching machines, everything's indoor. Netting, heat and
Wait,
air. Their heat and air is legit.
so I played baseball. My father was baseball.
It's a big pole barn, but then it's all netted out.
Yeah,
For
that's what I was
pitching,
gonna say.
catching.
I remember playing high school baseball. I played American Legion, but it was Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a coach from Arizona State. They played year round.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Wisconsin, we had some semi-professional pitchers that would come in and help us with training in the gym. And I can remember, just trying to pick up the ball, the speed of the ball coming at you indoors in a gym. It was horrific, right? It was like, and but that's all we had was a gym. And so I don't know how you hit a fly ball.
Where I work, I have an office space and then a big warehouse, and then the suite next to me is a travel baseball team. They have a little office, and that warehouse is all netted out with AstroTurf. So come about, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock, next door, hitting. You can hear it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But if you're playing a game indoors, you got to have a high enough stadium.
Yeah, no, there's domes everywhere. So yeah, they're high school domes.
That they didn't have those back in my day in
No.
Wisconsin. No.
Yeah, they do now. So yeah, there's 4, 5, 6 field plexes. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin Dells, Milwaukee, Green Bay,
Wow.
I mean, they're all over. And so they'll host tournaments all year, girls and boys, softball and baseball.
Okay, we're continuing to make improvements. We're going to post when we're going live. Chris is he's going to tap me whenever he's got a minute, and if something comes up that's politically incorrect that we need to share. So, I mean, anyway.
Yeah, no, this is just getting started. We're gonna get a little intro. We'll get some. It'll all come together here as we go. But all right, everybody have an excellent night, Tim. Thank you for all of your wisdom.
Well, I appreciate you, man.
I just hope they just keep busting the bureaucracy, just keep breaking it open.
I mean, how can you have a judge knock down the gender stuff?
Shoot that guy.
Yeah, impeach him. But anyway, hey, it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
This is the best president we've ever had.
It's fun to
Right.
watch. Yeah, he went to work. Well, that's what Kate was saying. She was like, "Oh my God, he's just going so fast," and I'm like, in my head, going, "He's just going to work." Like that's how fucked up these presidents have been our whole life. One guy goes in there and just shows up to work, and we're like impressed.
Yeah.
That should be a prerequisite what he's doing right now.
And I love JD Vance, or all of us say,
Yeah,
why is it so wrong to let common sense prevail? Right.
yeah. It's not. It's going to. It's
All right.
happening, bro.
Take care.
All right. Be
We'll
good.
talk. Take care. Bye bye.